Here with Dan from A to B Taxes Cornwall. Firstly, congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Can you begin by telling us a bit about the background and the history of A to B?
Sure. A to B is a family-owned company. It started off in 1998 with 2 people and 2 vehicles. Then fast forward, if you like, to August of 2002, it then became a fully incorporated company with about 20 vehicles. Fast forward to 2015, again, 75 staff and just over 30 vehicles. The company then went through a serious period of growth, and again, fast forward again to 2024, and the company now has over 200 vehicles and close to 300 members of staff as well. The vehicles range from anything from saloons to executive cars, minibuses, executive coaches, and as well as single and multiple disabled access vehicles.
And what areas of Cornwall do you cover?
We literally cover the whole of Cornwall. Back in 2002, it was solely or predominantly the Truro area, but now we cover all of the major towns in Cornwall.
And with Cornwall being quite a rural area, transportation can be a bit of a challenge, particularly for vulnerable people as well. So A to B Taxis actually a community service as much as anything else. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Cornwall, you're quite right, is a very, very rural community. There are approximately about 580,000 people who live in Cornwall, and some of the areas are quite poorly served with public transport. And so the service that we provide, because we're open 24/7, 365 days a year, enables people to be able to get hold of a taxi or a form of transport literally whenever they want. And because, as I say, we cover that pretty much the whole of Cornwall, that's proved quite invaluable to a lot of our customers who've provided testaments to that effect. I think that with COVID, for example, we produced a COVID-proof fleet of vehicles, which meant that obviously all the vehicles were cleaned prior and post journey. All the drivers and the staff, they wore full PPE kit and what have you, which proved extremely useful for all of the NHS organisations down in Cornwall. So the service that we provide literally covers the whole of Cornwall.
And has this led to any contracts or partnerships?
Absolutely, a lot of them. We also run all the ground transportation services from Newquay Airport. From Newquay Airport, we have a number of clients, which include the airlines for delayed and cancelled flight services, as well as with GWR for delayed and cancelled train services. We also have, we provide all of the non-emergency patient transport services for the NHS down in Cornwall, for the 3 main NHS organisations. That also includes staff transfers as well as patient transfers, confidential documentation, blood and tissue samples, that kind of thing as well. We also do a lot of work with local charities as well that supports young and vulnerable adults and children. And we supply a lot of transport services for Cornwall Council, as I say, for young and vulnerable children and young adults as well.
Excellent. And what accreditations and awards have you picked up along the way?
Quite a few, to be honest with you. In 2016, we went through the accreditation process for ISO 9001 2015, which is a quality management accreditation, which was closely followed in 2016 by the ISO 14001 2015 accreditation, which is for environmental management policies. And that has proved really, really beneficial, to the company as a whole. On the back of that, we are also Cyber Essentials certified, and we're a member of the BUSC membership scheme, which is an audited I'll have to stop there. I'm tongue-tied. A bus membership scheme, which is an accreditation for the transportation of young and vulnerable adults to and from various locations within not only Cornwall but the UK as well. There are quite a few more as well, which all help and serve to get us to where we are, which is the largest operator within Cornwall.
And the transportation sector has changed quite significantly since you first started. So what innovations or what changes have you implemented along the way?
Well, again, quite a few. Ever mindful of the needs for the ever-changing environment that we're in. We embarked on a process about 8 years ago of replacing a lot of our diesel vehicles with petrol hybrid vehicles. That has now moved on to replacing even more of the diesel vehicles with fully 100% electric vehicles. What we have is we've also have our own electric vehicle charging points on base. We've recently been awarded a grant by central government to have up to another 40 installed, which is excellent for ourselves and for our fleet of drivers. However, I think until the infrastructure in the whole of Cornwall changes so that there's more electric vehicle charging points available, not only for the transport trade, but I think for the general public as well, things will be, will move slowly rather than, at the pace that I think that everybody would really like to see. We also partner with quite a few renewable energy companies. We provide statistics and data management information to a number of those companies, including Cornwall Council, by way of CO2 emissions for each vehicle and distances travelled, that kind of thing, which they use to help formulate their policy as regards what's happening with Cornwall Council's drive to become carbon neutral. I think by 2035, I think it's now been changed to. Yeah, so there's quite a few things that's on the go there.
And what about the the technology implementation for the end user as well?
The technology implementation, we do have a number of apps, which means that somebody could actually book a vehicle any time of the day or night. As I said, we're open 24/7, 365 days a year. They will not only will they be able to book the exact kind of vehicle they want, they will be able to see their driver and their vehicle, and they'll be also able to track their vehicle, so that they will instantly know, where their vehicle is, how long they've got to wait, etc. They can also pay prior to the journey. They can pay in the vehicle or after they've completed the journey. We've found the feedback we've had is that there's a lot of people, especially young women, find that a really, really useful application, because it provides, I think, peace of mind and assurity that the vehicle that they're getting into is an A to B driver and it's a licensed vehicle, and that they will 100% they will get home safe and secure.
Yeah. Are there any exciting plans for the future?
There's always exciting plans for the future with A to B. We are looking to expand and grow the fleet even further, and apart from changing a lot of the vehicles over to electric vehicles, we're also looking to implement different business streams which will allow and different business models which will allow more people to join the trade on a temporary or ad hoc basis, rather than doing it as a full-time role. And because of those changes to the strict business model that we had before, that's proving very attractive to a lot of people who would never normally think of becoming a taxi driver, because being in the taxi trade or the transport trade, it's a lot more than just picking Mrs. Jones up to take her to the local supermarket and back again, or to take you or I to the local hostelry and for a drink and then to come back again. Nowadays, we do a lot of journeys that's outside of the county, we regularly do journeys to all the major cities and airports throughout the whole of the UK. So there's a lot more that's involved in the trade now than just being a taxi driver, just working the local area. So there's lots of scope. And what we have found, we've also recruited a lot more lady drivers to the company, which as we found to be extremely beneficial. A lot of our female customers, they regularly ask for female drivers, and now we're able to fulfil that request.
Fantastic. Is there anything else you would like to share with our readers?
Well, apart from the fact that to get to where we are today, it's taken a lot of hard work. Believe you me, massive amounts of hard work, dedication, commitment and enthusiasm on all of our staff, past and present. And that's anybody and everybody from cleaners to the owners of the company, to valeters, to mechanics, to the telephone operator staff, to the accounts finance department staff, to the staff that look after our NHS organisations and accounts, as well as Cornwall Council accounts, people, the staff who literally look after all aspects of the business, including the fleet support team as well. Without them, I would not be sat here talking to you today and accepting this award. So when we do get the award, it's on their behalf, and it's a big thank you to them guys.
So congratulations to you and the entire team once again, and keep up the good work.
Excellent. Thank you very much indeed.